Hi, I'm Julie Wolf with IndieBio, and we're here with Founder Stories, where we learn a little bit about the inspiration and the motivation of the IndieBio cohort founders. I'm joined today by Vic Levitine, CEO and co-founder of Diptera.AI, a company that is fighting mosquitoes with mosquitoes. Thanks for joining me today, Vic.
Sure thing.
Diptera fights mosquitoes with mosquitoes, as I just said. And I want to talk about how you do that, but I think first it's important to talk about why you do that. What can you tell us about the mosquito problem?
Mosquitoes are the deadliest animal alive. They kill nearly 1 million humans every year and get 700 million more sick with diseases like dengue, Zika, malaria, yellow fever, you name it. And we simply do not have good solutions for mosquitoes. This is why we believe this is well worth of our time.
So these millions of people, the 1 million people a year who are killed, this is mostly through mosquito-borne diseases, is that right? Like, so when a mosquito bites you, sometimes it will transmit that virus or parasite or something like that?
That's correct, yes.
And where are those problems the largest? Are they concentrated only in the tropics, or do we see those types of mosquito problems around the world?
So the thing is that due to the climate change, the mosquitoes that can spread disease, their habitat is expanding pretty fast. And latest research shows that by the year 2050, half of the world population will be living among mosquito-spreading diseases.
Because the mosquitoes are expanding into northern and I guess in the southern hemisphere, expanding further south as well?
Yes, exactly. And we are talking about Europe, US, nobody is safe. Right. Unless you are like in Antarctica or Alaska.
Right. So you said there's no good solutions, but there are some solutions that exist, right? Like, so when I think about how to fight mosquitoes, I think about bed nets or maybe some pesticides. Now, what are the problems with these existing solutions?
First of all, there are no vaccines or treatments to most of these diseases.
For the diseases, yeah. Good point.
That's one. And then when we're talking about the go-to solution, which is pesticides, chemicals, they are toxic to both humans and the environment, and they're not really effective, and they're quickly losing their effectivity because the mosquitoes are quickly becoming resistant.
So those same insecticides are not as effective year after year.
Yeah, at the end of the day, they're just losing their effectivity. Yeah.
The technique that Diptera.AI is using is neither of these. Is actually a different technique called SIT, or sterile insect technique. Can you explain this technique in a nutshell?
Yeah, of course. It relies on one beautiful fact that with flies, males, they mate repeatedly while females only mate once. And so based on this concept, when you release large quantities of sterile male mosquitoes, they mate with the wild females. There's no progeny, and so the population is being diluted. And so this is the core of the technique, and it's not new. It's been around since the mid-40s. It's been widely used for other kinds of insects, but it's been there's a major bottleneck with implementing this technique for mosquitoes.
What is that bottleneck?
So you want to be very precise with only releasing males, because even when sterilized, if you release females, they can still bite and transmit disease. So you want to be close to 100% accuracy in releasing males only. And the problem is that when you sex sort mosquitoes at the adult stage, this is what they do now, you cannot ship them around because they're fragile and they have a very short lifespan. So
how long is that lifespan? Maybe
it's like a few days up to a week. It's very short. So you cannot ship them. And if you cannot ship them, you need to build a facility to grow and sex sort mosquitoes near every release site. And this is why this technique, although very promising, is not being widely implemented. It's just super expensive at the moment.
Right, because you would need so many different facilities. But your technique, your sex sorting technique, is a little bit different because it focuses on a different developmental stage, correct?
Yes, that's correct. We developed a technology to sex sort mosquitoes much earlier in the larval stage. where at this stage the mosquitoes are much more robust and they have about 2 weeks prior to becoming adults. And this allows us to introduce a new business model to the industry. Instead of you having to build your own facility, we can ship ready sterile male mosquitoes to you and kind of have sterile insect technique as a service rather than establishing your own facility.
Right. I imagine in 2 weeks you could ship basically around the world almost.
Absolutely, yes. But we'll probably have one facility, per country or per region.
Right, of course. And I imagine getting the correct species of mosquito is going to be important as well, since there are different mosquito species that can transmit some of these diseases.
Yes, absolutely. And we are focusing on the nastiest first. The first mosquitoes we target are the Aedes aegypti and the Aedes albopictus.
I see, yes. And then you could branch out into some of the other ones as well.
Yes.
Now, you're working with some co-founders who have scientific expertise that is absolutely required to build this machine. In terms of building the algorithm, you're using artificial intelligence, but you're basing that on the entomology knowledge of one of your co-founders. So can you talk about your two scientific co-founders and what they're bringing to make this technology a reality?
Yeah, so I'm fortunate enough to be joined by two co-founders that are exponentially smarter than I am. And they bring along, each of them brings along more than 15 years of experience in their own field. Dr. Eli Ordan, he's been messing with flies for his entire adult life. So he's really an expert on flies and their development. So he brings along the unique knowledge of where to look for to recognize the differences between males and females at the larval stage. Mm-hmm. This is the unique value proposition. And then Dr. Ariel Livne, he is the expert in automation and optics. So he kind of translates Ellie's mind into an AI, into the automated machine.
I see. So if I could paraphrase, it sounds like Ellie basically tells Ariel how to teach the machine, because Ellie knows how to recognize the different features of the male or female larva, and then Ariel can translate that into something that automates that process and can say male, female, correct?
Exactly, yes.
Wonderful. And how did you come together to form the team?
So Ellie and Ariel, they've been at it for almost a year now, since September 2019. They've previously had another project together, and then they pivoted over to this one. And I've been an entrepreneur for 12 years. I built software companies, and then I've got my two boys got born, and I wanted to do something a bit more meaningful with my life than moving bits from one database to another, making money while doing so. So I was looking for a project with at least a potential to make a big impact. I was looking at a lot of projects, and as soon as I met the guys, I just knew that this was the thing that I want to devote my next 10 to 20 years to.
That's wonderful. So it sounds like the mission of solving the mosquito problem is really one of the large motivations of the entire team.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we've embarked on this very, very hard struggle, but the potential reward is so huge. To waking up in the morning, and I know it may sound like a cliche, but we wake up in the morning thinking that, okay, what we're doing now can potentially save human lives. And that's super cool.
Yeah, that is super cool, to say the least. Now, you're working on a really big problem. I imagine there are a lot of partners with whom you could work. Can you talk about some of the conversations you've had with either mosquito control companies or what you might imagine your go-to-market strategy might be?
Yeah, absolutely. So the obvious customers for us are the mosquito control districts. Those are either governmental, federal, municipal customers. And we've connected with those who tried the technique, and both with those that didn't. And we've learned that those that did try SAT, they've seen that it works, and they want more, but it's just too expensive. So right now we're focused on translating this interest into something tangible for investors, like letters of intent or any kind of expression of serious interest to prove that there is a market for this solution and that the gap is building the actual solution.
I see. Now let's go into the future a little bit and talk about how the world will look in 5 years. How do you expect the company to grow? And how do you expect SIT as a technology to have matured in this time?
At this point, we've spoken to tens of experts from all around the world, from the US, Asia, South America, South Africa, the godforsaken islands. And for us, it's clear that SAT will be implemented widely. It will be a default mosquito control solution. It's important to say that it will not be a silver bullet. You still need other methods as well. You need larviciding in water bodies. You need to educate the population to not leave open water bodies and so on. But it's not a question of if SAT will be implemented widely. It's just a matter of when and who will do it. And we believe that we hold the key to unlock scale for the sterile insect technique and essentially create this category.
Well, that's super exciting, and I wish you a lot of luck. I know you're very busy having those phone calls and helping the company to grow, so I want to thank you again, Vic, for taking time to speak with me today.
It was fun, thank you.
For more founder stories, you can find them under the Founder Stories menu at IndieBio.co. And if you want to apply to be part of our future cohort, be sure to visit IndieBio.co/apply.